Breaking story for this week has been the relationship between India and Canada. A lot of heat has been generated this week because of the allegations put by the Canadian government about the Indian government's involvement in the murder of a Canadian citizen on the Canadian soil. Welcome back to the channel, guys. In this video we are going to talk about the tensions between India and Canada and its potential implications on Canadian immigration for Indian nationals. Now all of this stems from a murder that was committed in Canada in Surrey, British Columbia in the month of June this year. On June 18th, Hardeep Singh Nijjar, who is a Canadian citizen, was shot dead outside a Surrey temple in British Columbia. Now, Hardeep Singh Nijjar was not an ordinary man. He was also one of the leaders of the separatist movement, an outspoken leader for a separate Sikh state in India by the name of Khalistan. The Sikh separatist movement in Canada has been a topic of discussion between India and Canada for a very long time. The Indian government wants Canadian government to step up and stop these separatist movements that run in Canada. On the other hand, the Canadian government under the leadership of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says that they would not step up to stop that from happening because they care for the freedom of speech, they care for the democratic principles, and they care for the freedom of expression. And because of that, they are not going to suppress any peaceful protests that happen inside Canada. Now, of course, Canadian government has this stance and Indian government is not happy about this because they do think that these separatist movements in Canada have an impact in India, especially when it comes to the separatist movement for the Sikh state of Khalistan. Now, as after June 18th, when Hardeep Singh Nijjar was shot dead, recently this week, new information came to light which Justin Trudeau shared in the Canadian Parliament that the Canadian Intelligence Services has found some links to Hardeep Singh Nijjar's murder with the agents of the Indian government or the Indian intelligence agencies. Following this public announcement, there has been a lot of disruption in the relations between the two countries. Canada expelled an Indian diplomat, and in retaliation, India also expelled a Canadian diplomat. On top of that, Canada has also issued a travel advisory for Canadian citizens going to India, saying that it might be unsafe to travel to that country. After the Canadian government issuing travel advisory for Canadian nationals traveling to India, the Indian government has also issued a travel advisory for Indian nationals and Indian international students in Canada. This advisory from the Ministry of External Affairs in the Government of India talks about hate crimes and violence against Indians who oppose the anti-India agenda, and has advised Indians to avoid travel or avoid exposure to such places where these violence or crimes have been observed. Now, amongst all this chaos, there is a concern in the Indian community in Canada, which is huge, by the way. There's Indians on temporary visas, permanent residents, even Canadian citizens. And the concern is, will this impact them? Will the bad relations between the two countries have any impact, especially on the visa applicants or the visa holders in Canada? So far, there is no news or no reports that it will have any impact. These are diplomatic issues and hopefully they will be resolved through diplomatic channels. Both the governments are pretty credible governments. They are both democratic governments, and I have faith that they will resolve the differences and make sure things are concluded well without any impact on ordinary Indians or Canadians. The only concern is if they start expelling diplomats, or one country or the other starts if it goes to that extent, it's very unlikely that they expel all the High Commission staff. Of course, when that happens, then the visa processing gets impacted, because if there is no one to process applications in the High Commission of Canada in India, then the applications won't be processed. This scenario, although, is highly unlikely, and at this moment there isn't anything to worry about. Yes, The tensions are there. Yes, there are issues between the two countries right now, but in terms of immigration, there shouldn't be any impact. So nothing to worry about. In terms of the allegations, of course, Canada has alleged and India is not going to accept those allegations. So it'll take some time for these things to resolve, and how it's going to resolve is uncertain right now, but only time will tell. Anyways, I hope this gave you a primer on what the issue is, and that this is not going to have a major impact on your immigration files at the moment. In the future, we don't know, but at the moment, there isn't any impact, and it's highly unlikely that there will be anything that will impact immigration files. So that's it for today, guys. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so that you're notified about any new videos that we upload. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.